Ya teach. Good afternoon. Class imeanza ya teach. Okay? Siko muted. Afternoon ya teach. Ya teach. Barto and the rest. Can you see the screen? Okay, thank you. So today we are going to do plant layout. Our lesson today is going to be about the plant layout. It is the introduction unit in the food engineering. And the main objectives of today is to understand what plant layout is, and then we look at the types of the plant layout. That's going to be all for today. So the first thing that we need to know is how to define plant layout. And how do we define plant layout? It is defined as the techniques of locating machines, processes, and plant services within the factory. As a food scientist, when you're going to construct your factory, you're going to be needed to know how to lay out your machines and in regard to the processes and the services you're going to offer in that factory. So when you talk about plant layout, you're actually talking about the structure of the factory, the flow design, and the machine installation design. So let us look at the types of the plant layout. The first type is what we call the product layout, or what we call line layout. This type of layout, all the machines are arranged in a sequence. In this case, we mean the first machine that is going to be used in the processes is going to be followed by the next machine all through to the last one. In other words, it is the line that the product will follow. If milk is going to come in at stage 1, as you can see in that diagram, as the reception stage, then goes to stage 2, stage 3, it is not going to change the process all throughout to stage number 10. So it is following a specified line. In this diagram that you can see, we're going to have a U-shaped production line. The next layout is what we call process layout. So when you're going to design your factory, or you're going to design, you lay out your machines, you're going to lay out in such that it is following the processes. What process is your food product going to follow? See that diagram? The materials come in at assembly number 1. That is where we're going to assemble our products. If you see the red line, the red line, our product goes first to process number D, and then goes to process number M, and then goes to process number L. Yeah, the other way around, L, M, D, and then finally we assemble, we have our first product. So the layout in this design is following the processes that the food is going to follow, rather as compared to the first one where we are following the product itself. And then we have another one that we call a combination layout. Yes, in this practice, we rarely use this, but when it is used, you are combining both the product layout and the process layout. So it just gives you advantages of both the systems in the layout. So you get to have more processes on the flow in your production area. And then we have the next layout is what we call the fixed layout. The fixed layout is where we have processes fixed in one position. Yes, and then it doesn't move. So the machines that will be processing one product at the same time is going to be fixed in one position. So in the fixed layout, you don't change the processing. Like if you're having milk, yes, so milk will come in position 1, and then it's going to go to position number 2, yes, and then it goes to position number 3 and then number 4 as we assemble. So in this case, in this layout, as you can see, it is going to go to that L, M, D, G, and then goes to the first assembly. So that is a fixed layout. It has all the processing process D, L, M, and G in one cell. So we are combining everything in that one cell. Now, what is the advantages of having a plant layout? Why should you need to consider that you lay out your plant or you consider the installation of equipments? One is to streamline flow of materials through the plant. When you don't have a correct plant layout, you'll find that you'll have a lot of material wastage, and you want to streamline the flow of the material so that we have less materials or the raw materials being wasted. Secondly, we want to minimize material handling. When you talk of material handling, this is the processes of moving materials from one place to another. So if you choose a good layout or an adequate layout, you'll be able to move the materials from one process to another and without handling that material too much. Remember, when you have too much handling of materials, it can lead to contaminations and cross-contaminations of the materials. 3, we want to facilitate manufacturing progress by maintaining balance in the processes. When you have a good layout in your industry, depending on the product that you're processing or depending on the processes that you're going to have, you're able to facilitate a smooth manufacturing. Then 4, maintain flexibility of arrangements and of operations. Hence, we maintain high turnover in the process inventory. We find that if you don't have a good layout, yes, in your industry, there's going to be a lot of mix-up during the processes. And in that case, then your in-process inventory might end up being low. But when you have a good plant layout, the arrangements of the equipment, the arrangements of the processes, the flow in the industry, there's going to be a lot of flexibility and hence a high turnover in the in-process inventory. So, to summarize our lesson today, we said we are talking about the plant layout, and I said the plant layout is the techniques of locating machines, the processes and the plant services so that it allows you flexibility in the industry. And then we have 4 types of the plant layout, that is the product layout, the process layout, the combination layout, and the fixed layout. And then finally we have the advantages of the plant layout. And these advantages of the plant layout, we have the streamlined flow materials, minimizing material handling, you facilitate manufacturing progress, you maintain flexibility, and also you have high turnover in progress inventory. So I want to ask, how many of us have been to a food industry? Any of us that have been to a food industry? Hello? Have you been to any food industry?
Yes.
So, which layout do you think you've encountered in the food industry? Is it a process layout? Is it a fixed layout? Is it a line layout?
A process layout.
That's nice. Anyone else who has been to the industry? Barto? Okay, so as we end our lesson, I want to give you an assignment to do. I want you to write the advantage and the disadvantage of each layout. You write advantages and the disadvantages of each layout. That's going to be all for today. You have a nice afternoon, and I would encourage us to visit any nearest food industry and try to find out what kind of layout they have in the industry. Thank you.